Hi everyone, welcome to this video where I'll be talking about our experience with Nemo 500 wind turbine. And this is something that was totally new to me, wind turbines. We've been living off-grid now for over 10 years and I have quite a bit of experience with solar and hydro and not wind. And we live in quite a windy place, so it's always been something I just thought, I wonder, would this make sense for us? Would this support our solar system? And we don't, where we are at the moment, we don't have hydro. Where I used to live, we used to have hydro, which obviously provides a lot of power 24 hours a day, which solar doesn't. So so for us, we definitely in the winter, in the wet and windy days, we can do with more energy than we get from the solar. So when someone offered me this turbine, I was like, yeah, sure, I think I want to give it a go. And yeah, what can I say? 6 months in, like I said, I followed all the instructions to get a better understanding, how these things should be mounted and the height and everything. So I really followed that. Yeah, for what I understood, you really want it to be in a clear path of wind. You don't want to be, you want it as far away from any obstructions as possible, because they disrupt the airflow, and then the disrupted airflow is less efficient. You get less energy from it. So it's on a 6 meter high pole, just out the window up there, pretty close to the house, so that the cable runs aren't too long. That was one thing I was like, how noisy is this going to be, because it's at the level of our bedroom. We're in a small tiny house, and so we have a mezzanine loft, so the turbine's kind of out the window at the height, and I was like, this might be a temporary location, because if this thing's really noisy, it's not going to stay there. So that I always had that in the back of my mind, but I wanted it to be close enough to the house where I didn't have to have a huge cable run. 6mm cables these days are not cheap. And one thing I can say about the noise, it's so quiet. I barely, can hear it. And obviously when it's windy, you can hear the wind. You get the wind noise anyway, and that covers up most of the noise. And to be honest, if I'm in bed and I can barely hear it, I'm actually quite happy, because I know if I can hear it, then it's generating energy, which is great. Yeah, the more energy we have, the better. Yeah, noise wise, it's really, really good. Yeah, in terms of how much energy it produces, so it's the Nemo 500, so 500 watts max. I've seen 280 watts, so it comes with a charge controller, quite a simple looking charge controller, like a box with a sticky label and a switch and a readout. That gives you, so it's kind of quite cheap, but I like the fact that it has a display on there and you can see exactly how much power it's generating. Yeah, when it's windy, I'm often just having a look to see what the numbers are, but of course it's from wind, it's not super consistent, it's going up and down and stopping and changing all the time. So on average, it's somewhere between nothing and 100 watts on a mediumly windy day. And if it's a really windy day, I don't know if this is because of where we live and because we're on the side of a mountain and we're in a valley, often it's just a little bit confused, it's moving around a lot. Could be, like I said, could be because of any of those reasons. Could be just because of the blusteriness of the wind and not the kind of linear direction it's coming in. It seems to work better on the windy, calm windy days where it's a kind of consistent wind or breeze or whatever. It seems to be spinning a lot more. But yeah, we're not getting huge numbers. I mean, like between 50 and 100 watts. If it's between that, I'm happy. If it's over 100 watts, then it's working pretty hard and the wind's quite strong. If it's above 200, then it's, then it's really catching some good wind. But it's very up and down, changes around a lot. So yeah, I just see it very much as an addition to our system. Definitely not something that we could rely on as a standalone supply of energy. Obviously we have batteries, so anything that it is generating is getting stored. Money in the bank, particularly if it means we don't have to run the generator, which is hugely inefficient. So yeah, that's what I can say for now. I'm happy. I'm definitely happy with it. I don't know if I would pay the kind of full retail price, which the last time I looked was around £500. I paid $250 for it from a friend that was selling it that had never used it. And for that money and the installation costs for the pole and the cables and stuff, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with it. Maybe in the future I'll try a different location to see if I can get a spot where it gets clearer, you know, a clearer channel of wind when it's windy. But for now, it's a bit of fun. It makes windy days a bit more interesting, which is great because we live in a tiny house, and when it's windy, we feel it. So yeah, I hope that's interesting for some of you guys. Hope it helps a little bit for anyone interested in particularly this model in wind turbines in general. I'd love to hear from anyone that's had experience with wind turbines on a kind of flat ground and what kind of consistency they get. Yeah, whether you get much more energy being generated. We'd love to hear that. And if this is interesting for you, please like and subscribe if you like to hear more. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. Ciao.